Hey guys, it's December 6th, Friday. About 25 kilometers west of Baddock, Nova Scotia. Just had a few days off, so I'll backtrack to when I arrived in Nova Scotia, December 3rd. The ferry arrived in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I remember I was on the ferry. I was overhearing some people talk about some pretty miserable weather in Halifax. I messaged my friends from Englishtown, and they said, "Oh, it's just light rain." So I thought, okay, we're all good. I proceeded to get off the ferry, and I don't know if it was just because it was at the pier or whatever, but just a ton of wind and a ton of rain. I was like drenched, or well, not drenched, I got pretty wet pretty quickly, which had me pretty worried for the day. I made my way to the closest Tim Hortons to figure out what the heck was going to go on. Anyways, I needed to get to my friend's place in Englishtown. They were about 42 kilometers away, so I couldn't sit at the Tim Hortons all day, so I made a run for it. When I got on the road, actually the rain was pretty light. I don't know, I guess I just got unlucky in the pier around the ferry, but for the most part the rain was pretty light. Anyways, I got to, I think it's Seal Harbor Island Bridge, and wow, I don't know what 100-mile-an-hour crosswind feels like, but and I don't know if you can actually pedal through a 100-mile crosswind, but I got a heck of a wind. For those that are familiar with Nova Scotia and that area. Anyways, once you get over that bridge is the base of Kelly's Mountain. Anyone local or anyone that's pedaled through might remember that Kelly's Mountain is pretty huge climb. I think it's 240 meters over 7 kilometers or whatever. Anyways, I dismounted off my bike for about 5 minutes and walked my bike because that crosswind was a little bit of a headwind at the base of the mountain. Got back on my bike and started pedaling. I thought, well, I'll see how far I can get or whatever. I actually had a little tiny bit of a tailwind as I kind of rounded the bend. And I actually climbed the mountain non-stop. I did not stop once I had started. So I pedaled right up to the top of Kelly's Mountain, which, like I said, if you're familiar with Kelly's Mountain, that is a steep mountain, and I got a lot of gear. So I was actually pretty pleased with that. That being said, by the time I was at the top of Kelly's Mountain, I was drenched. I was soaked. I was wet. It's crazy how every time you get yourself wet that you think, well, this is as wet as you can get, and then the next day or the next week you get even wetter. Anyways, I was soaked. And then what happened is sort of got on the other side of the mountain, and then you have to take a side road into Englishtown, and then there's a St. Anne's Bay, and that had a wicked headwind, a very cold, wicked headwind with flurries off that bay. And it wasn't too cold, but man, I don't know, it was cold. Between the cold and the wet, thank goodness I had some friends in Englishtown, because there's no hotels nearby. I probably would have had to actually knock on a stranger's door because I was so wet, because I would not have known how to get dry for that night. But anyways, made it to my friend's house and got myself organized and whatnot. I ended up actually taking 2 days there. It was so amazing waking up the next morning and they were at work, and so I kind of had the place to myself, and it was just, it was like heaven. Just no pressure, no nothing. So got a few things done, worked on my bike and this and that, kind of went through my gear and whatnot, and by the end of the day, I hadn't really gotten a whole lot of computer work done and whatnot, so I decided to stay a second day. It was just so nice. So I did take 2 days in English Town. Yeah, our friends John and B Pike, it was just amazing. Yeah, it was just amazing. John, he helped me with the modification for my rear bike light. I posted a photo for that. That's really helpful. He's a machinist, so yeah, it was absolutely great staying there. But I knew I also had to get back on the road as much as I probably could have spent a week there. So yeah, so I today I actually pedaled 41 kilometers. Like I said, I'm just west of Baddock. I actually got my second flat tire, so that also sort of determined that I needed to pull over for the evening. It's a cold day, mostly a headwind or headwind or head breeze for most of the day. Definitely a wind chill for sure. Flurries, but actually a really good day. I was mindful of just noticing just how much I actually appreciated being back on the road and looking forward to setting up a camp and this and that. So I just pulled over. I'm on some bay or whatever. I'm literally, like, you can probably hear in the background that I'm not that far off the Trans-Canada behind me, but in front of me is literally maybe 5 feet is the water. So I get to hear lapping waves for the entire night, which will be kind of neat. I'll post. It should be a pretty beautiful photo in the morning, so I'll post that in the morning. So what else? Yeah, cold day. Yeah, I also had a bit of an extended lunch, a little bit, just a conversation with my web developer, which I guess I'll put a bug in everyone's ears. I've got a few things that I've been working on the side. When I stop, or when I pull over and get a place, I'm able to stay somewhere or whatever, or if I'm in a restaurant for the evening, I'm pretty busy trying to get a lot of content done and this and that, but I've got a few things that are kind of in the works, and it sounds like and looks like that I got 3 pretty, I don't want to say major projects, but I got 3 little projects that are probably going to roll out pretty much like right on top of each other. So anyways, keep an eye out for that, for some announcements for that. So anyways, I had a little bit of a powwow with my web developer, Jordan. He's out of Mississauga. He's been amazing and been awesome every time I need something fixed or whatever. He's been there for me, so I definitely appreciate that. With Milgram Marketing out in Mississauga. So what else? Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out my Nova Scotia route. Because I'm trying to get to PI for Christmas, which I will do. And so basically what it looks like is I'm sort of heading westbound, and the Wood Island Ferry in Pictou, I think it's pronounced. I'm not going to take the Wood Island Ferry to PEI, because that'll get me there a little bit too quick. So I'm going to actually probably pedal along the north shore of Nova Scotia to the Confederation Bridge and then get on PEI. Problem is I don't have sufficient time to get to Halifax, like to do Halifax and then go to PEI, which has me a little bit frustrated. But I'm still trying to figure out, like, once Christmas is over, because I really didn't want to miss Halifax. And I've sort of been looking at the maps and whatnot, and maybe spending more, like going back into Nova Scotia. But the other problem is there's a ferry from Digby to St. John's, New Brunswick, but I believe that ferry shuts down January 1st, so it doesn't give me a lot of time to, with Christmas and everything, it's really got me under the gun. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with Halifax, because I really would like to go to Halifax, but right now basically I'm making a beeline to the Confederation Bridge to get to PI. Like I said, the shortcut is to take the Wood Island Ferry, but that'll get me in PI just a little bit too early. And I kind of want to be pedaling. I don't want to sit for too long. You know, 2 days. 2 days is good. I don't mind sitting. Well, I don't sit. I'm actually very, very, very busy. But I don't want to get to PI too early, where I'm maybe sitting for a week or a week and a half. That would be a little bit too long. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out Nova Scotia. So it'll probably play it by ear right through till Christmas. So I think that's about it. Yeah, I got about 3 or 4 blogs that are partially done. That was one thing I didn't really get to look or get to work on the last few days. I did do some videos on my clothing, because yeah, like I've done, you know, 1,000 kilometers, you know, to kind of like just above freezing to -5, in that kind of category. So I thought the cyclists out there might be interested in how the clothing is holding out and whatnot, and how I'm keeping warm in this and that. And actually, so speaking of keeping warm, what I'm going to probably do in a minute is I'm going to end this video, and I'm actually going to start up right over again, because I have a special request as far as someone who had a question or whatever. So I'll get to that in a minute, but because what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be answering a specific question, I think I'm going to sort of keep that as a separate video that I can use, just, you know, that can also end up being used for content as far as about weather and keeping warm and this and that. So I think, yeah. Sorry, I realize I'm a little bit rambling. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm missing anything. But I mean, I guess technically I've only, Nova Scotia, I've done about 80 kilometers, or 84 kilometers, 42 to English Town on the 3rd, and then 42-ish today kind of deal. So other than that, things are going really, really well. I'm actually really high spirits. I was pumped to be on the road and whatnot. Yeah, Patrick's just saying, cold isn't your worst enemy, it's rain. And that is actually true. That is 100% true. The cold is not really bothering me at all. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off on this video, and then I'll come right back live and just explain the purposes of a second video. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video right here and right now, and then I'll be back in a second.